Hey guys, my name is Ryan and I am the King of Booty Fab. And today's episode is going to be part one of a two-part set, maybe three, likely two. I was going to give it to you all in one video, but I had to go out of town. I needed some supplies. I don't feel like waiting. So you guys are going to get part one right now. And what we're doing is I go out into the woods and we drag some neglected, unwanted stumps in because I want shaping stations that are not like everybody else is doing out of 4x4s, 6x6s. I want something different. I want to do it my way. So I take you guys along. We're going to pull the stumps out. We're going to get them all prepped. Get them as far as we can in this episode. Part two is going to be finishing them out. Now, the reason I've got 5 stumps here is because end of the month, beginning of next month, I'm actually going to be teaching a class at the school. I'm teaching some metal working classes to the kids. I'm going to be doing some adult classes in the community soon, and I got more planned with the kids later on this year. So I wanted to make sure I had shaping stations that are going to hold up and that are useful for everybody. And I think that I'm hitting that on the mark already. I think they're going to work out quite well. If you guys haven't yet, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop me a comment, do the whole YouTube thing. It really helps me out. Your guys' interaction helps build the channel, and it allows me to do cooler things. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll tell you what, stop back at the end of the video for a minute so that I can throw something else at you. It's an ugly day out. Looks like it's about 4 degrees Celsius, but with the snow coming, we're going to load up the truck and drag along a buddy of mine, Jim, and the wife's coming along, and we're going to go pick up a few stumps. We pulled in a couple the other day, but we're going to build a couple of shaping stumps. I'm going to bring all you guys along for the ride here. Yeah, should be a fun video. We're going to drag them out of the woods, some good old hardwood. I'm going to be teaching some classes the end of this month, so I'm trying to get prepped for that. And I'll show you how, I'll show you the stumps I picked out, show you how we get them all cleaned up, prepped for use, ready to go so a bunch of kids can hit them with hammers. So thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a drive. Turn. So we got all them out. We got big stuff. We're gonna mark these, chop them off flat, make sure they're a good work height. We're gonna knock off all the bark, wire wheel them, clean them up, grind bowls in the top, get them prepped for banding. Yeah, I'll show you them quick before I clean them up here. Kind of the whole point of pulling them out of the woods is something with a little more character than just 4x4s and 6x6s strapped together. So all this stuff we're going to grind down, make it nice and smooth. You know, stumps that they couldn't use, they got lots of shape. This one actually was in a slash pile and got burnt, so we'll cut it down to kind of working height, but it looks cool. And this one's going to be the permanent one in the shop. I'd kind of negated myself to the fact that I wasn't going to get anything this big. It all would have been grabbed, but like, it's huge. I haven't actually measured it, but it's easily a couple 100 pounds.
You can measure it.
Oh, we're going to measure it? How far across is that? Oh, 25 inches. Base is a little wider. Yeah, that'll do. Put a big bowl here, platform over here, receiver here for some dollies, have a whole station, mount some wheels down at the bottom, and it's going to get a piece of receiver kind of with a handle that comes in and out, so we can just grab it, lean it over like a dolly, and then I can move it around, because yeah, it's not exactly 1 man or 2 man or even 3 man movable unless you roll it. But it's cool. Since these ones are right height, these two are too tall, and these ones, they're squared off pretty good. They're within 3/8 of an inch of square to the ground. Those two and this big one all are. You see the mark right here. So all I'm doing is going around, marking 32 inches off the ground all the way around. I think that one's 31, that's 34, that's 32. I think 32 is going to be a nice height for the kids that I'm working with. I got to lean over a little bit, but I'd rather make them usable for everyone. So we'll leave those 3. We're going to cut down these 2. I'm going to grab the chainsaw and we'll top these 2, and then we can start grinding them. Well, we jammed the pull start on my saw a while back, so I borrowed Jim's. Jim's saw does not want to drive unless it's on its side with the choke on. Or through the first one. At least that's the bigger one. I gotta trim that one. We'll see how the saw runs. Try and get it done today. If not, I think I'm gonna rebuild his carb for him. But yeah, over halfway done. That's actually free, pretty much, kinda. Sawzall will get it. We're good. Well, turns out the saw works well if the choke's on its side, so we got them chopped to height. I gotta flatten this one just a little bit. It's fought. That one's pretty true. It's tough to tell. My whole concrete is, the front of this pad is 5 or 6 inches lower than the house, so everything leans. I'm just measuring from the ground. Not like it has to be perfect, but we got these all down to kind of 32 inch, 31, 34, 31, picking random height and make it work. But they're all kind of workbench height, so it'll be good for the kids. They'll be able to reach it without stools. And next up is to throw this big old meat grinder of a blade on the grinder and throw some wood chips, make some bowls in the top. I'm gonna make all of them a little different shape. This one's gonna get kind of a big teardrop. This one, I'm gonna put 2 bowls in because this split actually goes a fair ways down. You can see when I cut it, it was actually 2 pieces. It split right off. So I'll probably put different bowls on each side of this. This one, I'm probably gonna put a couple of small ones. I'll put 2 different size ones on there and probably just 1 on that, just kind of a circle bowl. It gives me a variety. Everybody can kind of work between them, and I can stash them around the shop and use them however I see fit. You know, I got the space, kind of. I'm gonna put them on wheels, so it'll work. I'm stoked though. This thing's amazing. Pictures don't do it justice. Well, it's raining. The saw's fighting. The carbide wheel I got, I really need a T-handle, and I throw that away with the guards. See, I kind of got, this one's getting a round bowl. This one's getting a teardrop and a half round. This one's getting 3 different bowls. You can't really see it well. That one's getting a couple of teardrops. This one's getting a big half round. The other side of this, I'll put a big nylon or HDP or something like that. Some plastic over here so I can form it. I'm probably going to buck the end of this off square, so I've got a nice square edge. I'll just taper it off with the saw tomorrow. But it's dark. It gets dark way too early. I don't work nearly as fast as I used to, and my equipment's fighting. So tonight, it's raining. We're going to go sit inside, enjoy a show, maybe catch up on some YouTube, and you guys won't even notice because next clip, I'll be back at it. Well, sun's shining. We had a break in the rain, which is beautiful because at least I don't have to do this all outside. So we got stumps. Let me show you what I got going on, the steps we're taking, and maybe I'll set up the camera for a while today because it's not pouring rain on top of me. I'll actually be able to see something. So in light, you can actually see rough cut saw marks. I need to sand this down. I'm trying to find my flappers or a belt for my belt sander. I'm not a woodworker, so when my friend suggested that I plunge a skill saw into this, I don't own a skill saw or a router or a lot of tools. So we're faking it. But this one here, you can see kind of the rough outline I did in the pouring rain yesterday. It's this one's getting a round bowl. We're going to sand it flat. We'll round over all the edges. We'll get rid of all the sharp pokey stuff, wire wheel aside. I'm leaving town this weekend, so I'm going to pick up some probably 1.5 2 inch by 8 banding or strap. Yeah, flat bar, that's the word. And we're going to wrap it all the way around, nail it in just to hold the top together. Because if you've ever beaten into a piece of wood, it has a tendency to chunk out like a piece I'll show you in a sec. This one, I love the shape of it. But same thing, saw marks. You can see kind of my rough shape. I'll have 2 bowls on this one. This one, I got to flatten the top because we cut it a hair crooked. Saw was fighting us, but we're going to have a bowl, and then kind of a triangle shaped thing here. This one, you can see these bowls are most of the way in. I'm not going to go a whole lot deeper because really for what these stumps are used for, I'm not going to need to. Same thing, all the pokies off. Now, I plunged it in with the chainsaw a little bit while it'll fight. This is the bit I borrowed. I do have one that looks like a wood burr somewhere. I can't find it. We're using this for now. It's doing the job. Now, I don't do wood, so I asked a friend of mine that cuts these trees down. He says he's pretty sure these are fir, which is a little disappointing. Everything we've got up here is softwood. So I said hardwood the other day. How about it's harder than cedar, which apparently I might be allergic to anyways, so that's a good thing. But these are fir. This should be hemlock, which is harder, but honestly, this stump is impressive. I punched the dimensions into a wood calculator last night. That stump should be about 425 pounds. That's why it hit the ground so hard. The real reason that I'm keeping this one as my permanent over the say that. Look at this grain structure here. I'll put my finger beside it for scale. We started counting the rings. We're pretty sure there's over 200 rings. This tree should be over 200 years old. And you can see that grain structure. It's seriously under a 1/16 of an inch. Now, come to this one. You know, the grain starts to become over half of a finger width. That grain, that's a 1/2 inch there. This, which that stump is more than half the diameter, has less than 1/4 the rings. This is always going to be harder than this. It's going to hold up better, and I like it. So, But yeah, it's also a whole lot tougher to cut with that carbide wheel. So I did a lot of this with the chainsaw, smoothed it out. I think I'll fire up the chainsaw again, carve out some more, smooth it out for the wheel. I'm not touching this side because this side will get plastic, as my dog is terrified on the inside of the door, or just desperate for attention. But this one's going to get plastic here. I'll clean up the edges, but right now, since the sun's out, I'm going to finish cleaning up the top, shaping all of the bowls, clean up all the rough edges, and see how far we can get today.
Safety third? What's 1 and 2?
Style.
Is that why you're styling?
Temperature finally dipped below freezing, but we got another day of sun, so I'm out here carving bowls. See, they're pretty deep. I got lots of shape in them. Everything's a different shape, so smaller radiuses. I got kind of a bowl, some triangle stuff, some half circles, a big dish. I figured if I'm doing this, there's no point in making them all the same. We can kind of switch between them. It'll all make sense once I show you how I'm setting up this class. But yeah, this thing works amazing, except that these teeth don't go to the outside edge. If these went to the edge, so much better, but you can see where I'm just scraping the corners off of this. It's pretty easy to make a bowl bigger, but cutting the initial bowl is kind of tough. Once it's going though, as you can see, that's all done with that disc, and didn't take very long. I've probably got an hour, maybe 2, which could have been cut down quite a bit if my back was 100% and I could find a T-handle for my grinder. So next step, I'm going to find a couple of flappers, and we're going to go at all these with the flapper. That disc leaves all kinds of rough surfaces, and I got to smooth all that, smooth all the tops, round over all the edges, take down all the knots on the side, all this, anything jabby. I don't want the kids getting hurt at all, or me. And it's probably where I'm going to have to stop before I leave town in a couple of days, and then I'll bring back some banding and finish these up. Okay, well, I think that's where we're going to leave it today. Sun's starting to dip behind the hill, and it is below 0, and we're cold, and I can't find my flappers, my sanding stuff. Basically, I got to pick some stuff up, and I'm out of town in a couple of days, so this is where I'm going to end part 1. I'm going to leave town for a week, head out to my buddy's shop. I got some stuff I got to do. And when I get back, we're going to finish this up. We're going to band these. We're going to add some wheels. We're going to add some plastic on this. We'll finish them up. So give me about a week and a half for part 2. 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. But thanks for checking it out. Tell you what, if you guys got any ideas here, I'm open to them. I got a bunch of stuff going on I haven't explained yet, but we'll get to that when we come back. But yeah, drop me a comment, like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. It'd really help me out, and I'll see you on the next one. Well, if you guys made it this far, thank you so much for checking out the video. I know I repeat myself a lot. I know that it's not the most exciting video, but it's important stuff leading up to what's coming in part 2, where I get all of the banding around the top. I finish sanding everything out. I get hammer holders. I get dolly receiver in there. I got some pretty big plans for it. I'm picking up some tools, some supplies while I'm out so that I can finish them out. The reason I asked you guys to pop in at the end of the video, I figured if you toughed it out this far, you can bear with me for just a minute. We live in a really remote community, and I'm putting these classes on because our school does not have a shop class. Our community has a K-12 school that's got, I want to say 21 kids in it, and 2 of them are mine. I want to be able to teach these classes a couple times, well, several times a year for the kids. It's going to be an ongoing thing. We have a group in the community which also helps arrange adult classes. Every once in a while, you guys ask me if there's anything I need. I get messages from guys if there's any way to help out. I'm throwing some hammers and vice grips and some safety gear up on there, up on my Amazon wish list. It's stuff that I need for the courses. The school's going to provide the safety gear. I'm hoping to be able to source hammers and vice grips, locking pliers myself, just because I want to be able to use them for all the courses as opposed to having them sit at the school. So I'm throwing the stuff up there. If you guys are so inclined, I would be eternally grateful. The kids, the grown-ups, everybody that's going to be taking courses would be thrilled. I'm doing these courses for no money in the school. I'm not taking pay. I'm not going to take pay when I do them for the community. It's something that I can pitch in every month, every 2 months or so, which makes our community better. We're really remote, and our options for anything extracurricular is really limited. This is a way that I can help give back to the community. And I wasn't going to do this until a friend of mine commented that, hey, I get some guys that ask to help. So guys, if you feel so inclined to help, I'll put the link down in the description, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you don't, I don't expect anyone to. I never expect anything, but this is one of those things where I have hammers and pliers for me, but I don't for a dozen kids at a time. So I'm going to throw some stuff up there if you guys could. Either way, thank you for getting to the end of this video. Thank you for following along. Thank you for your support. You guys are amazing. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, I really hope you're subscribed. If not, click the button down wherever it is at the bottom of the screen. I am obviously away from home. I'm in a nice heated shop at my friend's place. He wanted to make sure that I'm not hurting my back, and he made sure I had this amazingly perfectly patinaed vintage leather lazy boy so that when I'm hurting I can pull up a seat, I can do my work. But I got some cool videos that are going to be coming out of here pretty quick from stuff we're working on while I'm here. I just want to get this video up to kind of bridge the gap before I get home. So once again, guys, thank you so much, and we're going to see you really soon. I hope you guys enjoyed.